Apologies, guys. Hopefully this is a little bit better. I had issues with my microphone. You're right. I had the wrong one selected. I'm still learning, as I keep saying. But thank you. If you're still on there, please jump back on the chat and we will... Hey, is that better? Can you guys hear me now? Are we okay? Do I get the thumbs up? Perfect. Right, let's get going, guys. As I said when I came on, thank you for letting me know about the sound, by the way, and I apologise I have to start the stream again. Lads, what do you think? Gerald Shaqiri, is he going to be a Liverpool player? Are we happy enough that Liverpool are interested in a player like Shaqiri? 12 million is apparently his clause in his Stoke contract. That means he's fairly inexpensive for that position. Would he be good cover? Would you be happy? I certainly, as I said, I'm tough on this one, guys. That's why I wanted to come on tonight, because I don't know if I'm being a little bit biased or a little bit snobbish in regards to not wanting Shaqiri at Liverpool. Am I in my own here? Some of the guys I spoke to on the podcast think he'd be a good addition to the team. I just don't know. His attitude I've always questioned. I mean, obviously I don't know him personally and I don't know what he was like at Stoke, but I always did question why he went to Stoke from Bayern Munich. It never seemed right. I believe, did he start at Basel, if I remember correctly? Basel, then Bayern Munich, down onto Stoke. And if he did make it at Bayern Munich and he has the talent, he'd certainly be seeing flashes of brilliance from him in the Premier League. But is he good enough to play for Liverpool Football Club? Is he good enough to stake a claim in that front three? Or would he come in purely as backup? Really want to know what you guys think about this one. It's intrigued me all day, and I hadn't planned on coming on for a chat tonight, but after seeing that link today, and obviously the link to that young Nigerian player is from Ghent, 22 years of age. I think he scored 5 goals in his last 20 games in the league. He's not gone to the World Cup, I believe, because of an injury, so he's not in the Nigerian squad that's going to be playing in the World Cup. But lots and lots to chat about, so let me know what you think. Vidar says Shaqiri is underrated as fuck. He has quality, cheap and very good backup. He plays well in a really poor team. That is a fair point, Vidar. He is certainly, he does have the quality. I'm not going to deny that he has the quality. He's capable of moments of brilliance. But what I would say, Vidar, is if Jurgen Klopp decides that he's going to bring in Gerrard and Shaqiri, then I have no worries down about his attitude, because we know how particular Jurgen Klopp is with the type of footballer he brings into Liverpool. We know how well he looks into the personality, how well he looks into their attitude, and he wouldn't bring somebody into that squad that would potentially cause a rift or drag people down. So, maybe I'm wrong here and Vidar is right. Maybe Shaqiri would be a quality addition for very, very small money. I mean, what do you get these days for £12 million in the Premier League? Especially, well, they're not a Premier League club anymore, but so we're a Premier League club. A player of his quality for £12 million, it does have some upsides. It certainly does. And as I said, maybe I'm just being snobbish here, but 12 million, yeah, do you know what? It does make sense, but I think I'd probably rather we go for that young Nigerian guy, just because there's potential there. DMM says, will admit my immediate reaction was underwhelming, but Klopp has found so many gems, turned them into great players, and we must learn to trust them. It's proved me wrong several times. You're right, and if Jurgen Klopp selects Gerrard and Shaqiri, then obviously he'll get my full backing, like all you guys. Klopp knows him well. He won't come in if they aren't a match. That's a fair point for that, and if he does come in, of course I'll be behind him 100%, as I'm sure you guys will. Evan Guest says, we got Robbo for a... Yeah, we did. We got Robbo for a Kevin Stewart, Evan, which makes me smile every time I think about it. Just think about that. We got Andy Robertson for Kevin Stewart. Brilliant. You're not going to get a better trade than that, are you? I'm sure Hull are kicking themselves over that one, but we certainly got one hell of a player for 8 million quid, as you said. John Keane says, Shaqiri's a decent player, but he'd prefer to give Harry Wilson a go. It's a fair shout as well. I mean, we do have to think about the future, and we do have to think about bringing our own young players through. I've seen Ajaria is being linked, or not being linked. I think Ajaria is going to Rangers on loan as well, so he's going to go up there and link up with Steven Gerrard for the season. So what do you guys think of that move? Do you think that's a good move for Ajaria? Going up with a coach that he's probably worked with before, Steven Gerrard, be able to keep an eye on him for Klopp. Klopp will probably be able to have a certain type of input as to how Ajaria progresses and how many games I suppose he might play for Rangers. So what do you think of that one, guys? Ajaria a good move up to Rangers? DJ MC, what's happening with the Nabil Fekir deal? Your guess is as good as mine, mate. Honestly, I think we're all just waiting. Every night we're all going to be the same. We're just waiting for that little bit of news that a fee has been agreed with the Leon president, and once that fee is agreed, I think you'll see it move very, very quickly. And everyone's just worried, and I understand, but I really think this deal is going to happen. I've no inside knowledge of it, but just the feeling you get from the press, the lack of links to other clubs, the players' agents kind of urging Liverpool to agree a fee, everything seems to be pointing to the fact that Fekir wants Liverpool and Liverpool seemingly wants Fekir. John Keane says, good move, get good exposure up there. He'll certainly get game time. He will definitely get game time. And we've seen Sinclair went up there, did really well. Young Dembele gone to Celtic, did really well. Obviously Sinclair at Celtic as well, but they both done really well, progressed, scored plenty of goals, got lots of confidence, which as well might be something really important here. Ajaria is, and most young players, I suppose most forwards do work off confidence, so if he goes up there, bangs in, let's say 10 goals next season, it could only be a boost for his confidence. And then again, if we don't bring him back, if we don't feel that perhaps he's of the calibre that Jurgen Klopp's looking for, then his resale value will have gone up. So yeah, you're right, John, it probably is a good move, and well done all around. Evan Guest, I think the connection between Gerrard and Linders will be pivotal for our youth over the coming seasons. Brilliant point, Evan, absolutely brilliant point, mate. Pep and Linders has probably taught Steven Gerrard a lot. I think they've very little link up between the two when they were there. I mean, overlapped in time, but I'm sure there is a lot that Pep and Linders can bring to Steven Gerrard's coaching career, and Pep and Linders will certainly be in good contact with Steven Gerrard, and so will Jurgen Klopp, to make sure that Ajaria progresses as they all hope. And you know what, I fully think that Steven Gerrard will look after him, will give him the exposure he needs, will put an arm around the shoulder if he needs it. So as everyone has said, and the point Evan made and John made, it seems like a really, really good, solid move to go to a club where he knows he's going to get game time under a manager who we know we can trust to look after him. Roger Allegan, for 12 million it would be a steal for somebody like Shaqiri. And what about Moses Simon rumour? That's the one I was talking about a little bit earlier on, Roger. Moses Simon, 22-year-old winger, playing at Ghent at the minute. Nigerian international, not going to the World Cup because he picked up an injury. I believe he played 20 games last season, scored 5 goals, so young player. Can play anywhere across the front three, but I think he ideally plays as a winger, but he is capable of playing across that front three. I've seen people on Twitter complain about buying a player from the Belgian league, but let's just think back here. Let's think back a few years back. You had many players playing in the Belgian league. I mean, who was the guy that's at Leverkusen? I can never think of this young guy's name, but he was at Ghent last year or the year before before he went to Leverkusen. I can't think of his name. The Jamaican young guy. You guys might be able to help me out. Then you've also seen so many players actually come through the Belgian league. Kevin De Bruyne came through the Belgian league, for God's sake. So I wouldn't turn my nose up at a player just because of the league he's playing in. So I don't know much about him, Roger, mate, and I'd be lying if I said I did, but it's interesting where this link came from, and it's so obscure that it just might have some reality to it. So I'm certainly going to look more and more into this player over the coming days. DJ MC, did you hear about Alisson Becker? I have heard nothing about Becker, nothing new anyway, mate. So if there is something that I've missed out on, or you have a link, or you have something you want to let us know about, then please do, because I'd love any story about a goalkeeper coming to Liverpool. Evan Guest says, Shaqiri went to Stoke from Bayern, tells me enough about his mindset. And that, Evan, was my big concern as well. Why would you go from a Stoke City to a Bayern Munich? And am I wrong here, guys? Did he have a spell at Inter Milan? Or am I completely just making that up? In my head, I just had to remember Shaqiri at Inter Milan. Now, that could be completely wrong. But if he was there, he obviously didn't light the league up because nothing's standing out. But that was my worry. He must have went to Stoke for one thing and one thing only, and that is money. And the Premier League is probably the richest league in the world, and he probably got a wage at Stoke that he wasn't going to get in many other European clubs. So I agree with Evan to an extent, and that's what I said at the start of this broadcast. I was a little bit concerned about his attitude and why he came to the Premier League, and is he mentally strong enough to play in a team like Liverpool? So Evan says, he just went from the Bayern bench to Stoke. It's a strange move, Evan, isn't it? Bayern Munich to Stoke City. Don't think there's too many players who'll do that over their career, to be fair, go from Bayern Munich to Stoke City. Anything else that came up today, guys? I'm still, by the way, really happy to see Pep and Linders back in the Liverpool coaching setup. We talked about this yesterday. He's going to be a great addition to Klopp's backroom team. I think we signed Klopp brought in somebody else today. Was it a new nutritionist or something? No, not nutritionist. We still have nutritionist. A head of conditioning or something. There was a new signing came in today, definitely in Klopp's backroom staff. I've been so busy all day that I haven't really had a chance to look up much stuff. Just finished the podcast, World Cup preview podcast, which of course will be up on the YouTube page later on, so keep an eye out for that. And I just wanted to come on and have a chat about this link to Xherdan Shaqiri, because I seen it in the Express and I said to myself, that has to be bullshit. That has to be a nonsense rumour. But it's been picked up and it's been ran with by a lot of people. And 12 million quid is an amount you're happy to take a gamble with in this day and age, isn't it? Like 12 million quid. Aaron says Fekir to be announced on Friday. I don't know what to say to that, Aaron. I mean, we've heard Fekir's having medicals last Sunday. His agent and him are flying into Liverpool. If he is announced Friday, absolutely brilliant. Whenever he's announced, it'll be brilliant, and I will be on here with a big dirty smile on my face as soon as he's announced. You know what? We're so confident with him coming to Liverpool that Connor, the guy who does all our IT stuff, all our design work, makes all our logos, he already has designs done for Nabil Fekir. He's got some brilliant stuff done that he'll be putting out in his Redbubble shop. He's got some brilliant images that we'll be putting out straight away. So we're really confident at Anfield Agenda that he's going to sign. That Fekir will be a Liverpool player. We have all the stuff ready to go. So if it's Friday, Aaron, brilliant, mate. I'll be all over that. Happy. Ravi says, I think he'll be a great addition. Steal, experience and score some outrageous goals. Trust in Klopp. If Klopp wants him, that's good enough for me, Ravi. That's all I can say on this, because my doubt is about his mentality, and Klopp won't bring him in if he has any doubts about his mentality or his attitude. So once he gets the nod from Klopp, that's certainly good enough for me, and I'm sure most of you guys as well, because he has flashes of brilliance in him. And would I have been happy seeing him coming off the bench in the Champions League final? Absolutely, I'd have been happy seeing him coming off that bench, because we needed a spark. We needed creativity with Salah going off. Lallana hadn't got the games in his legs. Emre Can hadn't got the games in his legs. So yes, I would have happily had him coming off the bench. Aliu says, well, why are we signing Oxlade-Chamberlain? Lots of people said that a few months ago. No one's saying it anymore. Klopp knows what he's doing, so if he signs Shaqiri, he'll be good. There was a lot of people slating Oxlade-Chamberlain when they signed. I've often admitted my errors on here, particularly around James Milner, but I was fully behind the Oxlade-Chamberlain signing. I knew that he just wanted to change. You could see it in him. He was honest about his career, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. He just felt like he wasn't progressing at Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. And you have to admit, we all thought when they signed him from Southampton that they'd got an amazing player and that he was going to take the league by storm. But he progressed a little bit, but not as much. But under Jurgen Klopp, we've seen what he's done this season, and he's absolutely spot on there. He's been a great signing, and I hope to God he comes back soon. I know we're probably talking November when he comes back to the team, but you know, Alex has been greatly missed by us all and scored some wonderful goals this year, and he's been a big part of that Liverpool squad that got to the Champions League final. So I agree, anyone Klopp backs is definitely good enough for me, mate. Mike says, I think Shaqiri will be a good player to have on the bench. I think that seems to be the... I think maybe I'm in the minority here, guys. Most of you guys seem to be saying that you'd be happy enough to have him in. So, you know, it's good. It's good to come on here and get other opinions. So I'm delighted that a lot of you guys are looking at it positively, because on Twitter some people are losing their damn minds. So it's good to come on here and have a civilised chat rather than just abuse being thrown back and forth. So thank you for your input. I'm really, really happy to see that you guys think it's a positive. The fee, the 12 million quid, can any of us really argue with that? I mean, 12 million quid, what does that get you on? I know one of you guys pointed out earlier on that 8 million quid got us Andy Robertson, and that's spot on, but 12 million quid for a Premier League player is very cheap, so it's certainly worth the gamble. John Keane says, we're linked to a 19-year-old replacement. I think try and move the president of Lyon to Sale now. I did see that link. I can't remember the guy's name, and I have no idea if it's true, but one thing I will say, John, is that Olas, the Lyon president, is notoriously difficult to deal with. Spurs had trouble, I think, when they were bringing in Lloris, their keeper. We seen last year, who did they sell last year? Lyon sold somebody big last year, didn't they? I can't remember now who it is. Who did Lyon sell last year? Anyway, any deal involving Lyon seems to go to the wire. Their president seems to be almost like the Daniel Levy of the French league, in that he wants every penny extracted from the deal. So of course it makes sense that Lyon want to wait till the World Cup's over, because it can only benefit them. Their price isn't going to go down. bar an injury for Fekir, touchwood doesn't happen. But I understand the Leon president's mindset, but I also understand that Klopp wants players in and he wants to get a full pre-season or as much as he can of a pre-season out of his team. So I think we might see something soon regarding Fekir. I think Klopp might get to the point where he either wants it done or he might just leave it, because we've seen how long he keeps players out. I mean, he kept Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Andy Robertson out for months until they were ready to join up to that first team. So it's going to be interesting. I hope one of you guys pointed out earlier on, you mentioned Friday. I'd be delighted if it was done on Friday. DMM says Olas was sniding short with us even when we were considering Lacazette a couple of seasons ago. That's the player I was thinking of, DM. Thank you, mate. Lacazette, Arsenal got him, and that took a while to do that deal as well. How long was he linked with Arsenal, by the way, Lacazette? It seemed to be going on a long time, or even a move away from Lyon. It took a long time for Lyon to sell him, so he is very snide as Olas, and he's very tough to deal with. So I think Liverpool are going to have to do their best negotiating to get him out. So fingers crossed, but it is looking positive. It was Lyon, so Lacazette to Arsenal. Yeah, thank you, mate. You're spot on as well. DM did say that as well. Thank you for letting me know. Just mine went blank. I couldn't remember who it was. So many players moving around. So we didn't have the money, nor would the player consider coming to a team that offers Champions League. Strange how that worked out. It is strange how it worked out, isn't it? Lacazette always said he wanted to go to a team in the Champions League, and Arsenal haven't been in the Champions League now for 2 years, but money does talk. Money really talks. If you want a player and you're willing to compensate him financially for not being in the Champions League, a lot of players will be receptive to that if they believe that them coming to their club could be the difference between Champions League football and non-Champions League football. So we often say that Champions League can be make or break, but as you guys pointed out there, an extra few pounds in the pay packet never hurts either. Mike says, Klopp take one player from relegated team every year. When Yaldum 2 years ago, last year it was Robbo, so if we can take Shaqiri coming. So good point, and I never thought of that, mate. Fair play. Spot on. And look what we do with Gini Wijnaldum. What a player he's been for Liverpool. I mean, he's had some poor moments. Yes, he's only scored his first away goal at Rome in the Champions League, but great point as well, Mike. Well done, mate. Spot on. But just make it the hat-trick. So if he signs Sheridan Shaqiri, this is Klopp's hat-trick from relegated teams. So yeah, that would be really interesting to see. DMM says perhaps someone can send Olas a DVD of Southampton's season. Maybe convince him holding on to a player for effect or more money perhaps doesn't work so well. Good point again, really good point. That Van Dijk situation was strange though, wasn't it? I mean, they just freeze him out completely. It seemed like they just did not want to sell to Liverpool, and it worked out for them in the long run, I suppose. They managed to stay in the Premier League and they got a shitload of money, but is that any good to them now? Would they have been better off getting that money in the summer and strengthening and giving the manager more funds? I'd say absolutely. So maybe that is a good point to Olas. Aaron Lennon says, any updates on the training ground? No, absolutely nothing. And I'm going to be honest today, Aaron, mate, I didn't have a chance to do any more investigating. I've been really busy with family stuff today. Recorded a podcast before I came on. So no, I'm not going to lie, I didn't have a chance to look it up today, but when I did look it up yesterday, I couldn't find anything new or any updates on it. Ravi Bika, Inter and Bayern don't sign rubbish. He's got pedigree. I think he'll surprise the doubters. I think, as I keep coming back to the fee, but at 12 million quid, it's certainly worth a roll of the dice. 12 million quid isn't a lot of money, especially for a club. Well, it is to us mere mortals, but it's not to a football club like Liverpool. So a 12 million quid gamble on somebody who we know can do things with us. Well, can change the game, I suppose I'm looking to say. He can do anything he wants with the ball at his feet, but it's consistency. Can he do it consistently? And that's what I'd like to see. But if Klopp brings him in, 100%, I'll back him, and I know you guys will too. Roberto Firmino has revealed Roma goalkeeper Alisson has asked about the possibility of a move to Liverpool this summer, and Firmino was hopeful his Brazilian international teammate will join him at Anfield. DJMC said that would be amazing. We spoke at length. We spoke at length about the goalkeeper situation on the pod, and I think I spoke about it on here as well. If you could chop Oblak and Alisson in half and give me Oblak's hands and Alisson's feet, then that would be like the perfect goalkeeper for me. But Alisson would be an amazing addition to the Liverpool team. I'd love either of them, Oblak or Alisson. I think all you guys are probably the same. They're the two dream signings. I have seen some people say that they possibly wouldn't want to spend that much money on a keeper, but it's the one position that I think we really need to strengthen, guys. The one position I think we're really lacking in in-depth quality and someone who can win us points, because that's what a good goalkeeper does. Look what David De Gea has done for United for the past few seasons. He's been their player of the year, I think, for the last 3 years, and probably got them 10 to 12 points each season. Mike Hine said, Maddox said that Oblak and Alisson is almost impossible to get this summer, and Liverpool will be looking at other targets. Who would you get apart from these two, mate? Any ideas? Just touching on David Maddock for a second, Mike. Sorry, I will come back to your point. David Maddock put up a tweet that really pissed me off today, and we touched on it in the Anfield Agenda Twitter account. David Maddock tweeted something like, hopefully one of the side effects for Karius is amnesia. Now, that to me is disgusting for David Maddock, a journalist with the Daily Mirror, to say something along those lines, that he hopes one of the side effects for Loris Karius from his concussion is amnesia, or was one of the side effects amnesia. I can't remember the exact wording of the tweet, but that is absolutely disgusting from a journalist to come out with some nonsense like that around an issue which shouldn't be joked about. I mean, we're talking about somebody's health here, we're talking about their life, we're talking about he plays football for 10, 12 years, 15 years maximum. He's got a life after that, and if he has a brain injury, that's not something to be joked about. We need to be raising awareness of these situations, not poking snide, shitty jokes at them. So sorry, mate. I just wanted to bring that up while you mentioned Maddock there. Who would I get apart from these two? I keep coming back to the same name, and it's not a name that I want, but the name that keeps being mentioned to me, and it's the one nobody wants to hear, is Jack Butland. Jack Butland is the name that anybody who I trust or has given me good information before keeps mentioning the name Jack Butland. He's not a name we want to hear, but he's the only other name I have. Cillessen, is Cillessen 29 years of age, if I remember correctly as well? So what, he'd possibly have 5-6 good years left in him. But is he good enough quality? Is he any better than Jack Butland? I don't know. I haven't seen him really since he played for Ajax, because he hasn't done much at Barcelona, so tough one to say. Colin Kavanagh says he's not a fan of Shaqiri, average player, but if we get the players the Klopp wants, he's an extra squad player, and a 12 million quid is worth a bet. I think you're sharing the opinion of most people on here, Colin. It's the price that really makes it attractive. 12 million quid for a proven Premier League player. Well, proven in that he went play with a relegated team, but he was certainly one of the better players in that team. 12 million quid isn't really a gamble, so I'd agree. He probably is worth a punt, as long as Klopp is happy with his mentality. So, and I keep repeating myself here, but if he comes in, then we know that Klopp has done his research and he's happy that the player won't be detrimental to the squad. DMM says, some panic on Twitter about McCarthy as an option instead of Alisson and Oblak. Must be a smokescreen. FSG must be getting to the finals to make money. That would be an interesting one. McCarthy. No for me would be the answer, honestly. No, we can get better. I hope it is a smoke screen, and I don't know if it's for Alisson, if it's for Oblak, but God, this is one position we can't afford to mess around in. I just feel we need to get this position nailed, just like we did with Virgil van Dijk. We need to go and get a top quality player to box off this position for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It's too important to fuck about with. We need to get a top quality goalkeeper. Ben says, seeing we're always go with Southampton players, how would you feel about Lemina? I don't think we're going to go back near Southampton ever again. I can't see them even wanting to deal with us. Any player that they have now is either out of bounds for us, or it's going to cost us the sun, the moon and the stars. We probably would have been better getting FSG to break up and just go and buy Southampton. I think we've given them 260 million quid or something over the past few seasons. We'd probably have bought them cheaper. Connor says, hey Connor, by the way, thanks for coming on, buddy. Bill says we're reported to be in for Bernard Leno, Leverkusen goalkeeper, valued at 25 million. I had seen, Connor, that Arsenal were linked with Leno, and that Leverkusen said they won't stand in his way as long as they get the money you're talking about there, the 25 million quid. Leno comes from a stable of really good young German goalkeepers. He's been playing for that Leverkusen team for a few years. He was around at the same time, obviously, with Karius. You had him. You had who's the other guy that is it Mainz? You had Karius. You had him. You had the guy that went to Barcelona, and then there was one more goalkeeper, wasn't there? I'll think of his name in a minute, but there was certainly a good crop of young German goalkeepers there at the time. And Bernard Leno, would he be good enough? Tough one, Connor. You know what? That is a tough one. He'd be right. I'd be right on the fence for Leno. I thought Karius was going to be better than he was, so it would be a tough one. But it wouldn't be absurd for Klopp to go in and get another German goalkeeper. Makes sense, but as I said, the link I seen for him was to Arsenal and not to Liverpool, and Arsenal probably are in need of a keeper as much as we are. So be interesting to see if they go get him, or if we'll go get him. But I would say more Arsenal. Ravi B, a solid keeper can be an 8-10 year investment, pay All Blacks release clause, and we're set for a while. Yeah, All Blacks 25 years of age as far as I know, so you would probably get 10 years out of him if you got him then, tied him down to 2 contracts. But yeah, I agree, there's no argument. 70-80 million quid, look back on that in 3 or 4 years time and it probably won't seem like a stupid investment. It probably will seem like money well spent. Dr. Yogurt says, brilliant name by the way, says Neymar scored at Anfield against Croatia. Imagine if we could buy him. I don't like Neymar, I'm going to be honest. He's a hugely talented footballer. He can do amazing things. The goal he scored that you're speaking about was fantastic, but I just don't like the guy. I don't like the way he just moots himself around. He just seems like an arrogant arsehole to me. And I know there's a lot of fans of Neymar's out there, but I certainly am at one of them. I'll never deny his quality as a footballer, but don't like his attitude. Don't like the way he treats his clubs. Don't like the way he treats some teammates. I don't like a diva. But if he came to Liverpool, I'd probably have fucking Neymar on the back of my shirt because I'm a football fan and I'm a hypocrite. So he is a quality player. I mean, he's probably going to end up at Real Madrid because, you know, I think the move to PSG was a way for him getting the move to Real Madrid, because that move between the two clubs, although they have happened before, I don't think Barca wanted to lose him. And if they'd lost him directly to Real Madrid, the shit would have hit the fan. DJ MC says, keep up the good work, you're doing really good. Thank you, mate. That always delighted to hear compliments. And I didn't even mean to come on tonight. I hadn't planned on coming on tonight, but we finished the pod a little bit early, so I thought I'd come on, do it maybe half hour, 40 minutes, and see what you guys think of the Shaqiri link. DMM says De Gea has literally kept Man United in the top 6 for a couple of seasons. Without him, I think anyone can disagree that have dropped to 7th or 8th. He's the difference between Champions League and no Europa League. He is quality. David De Gea, in my eyes, he's the best goalkeeper in the world. I know he made a fuck up the other night in the friendly, but he's a quality goalkeeper, and I fully agree. David De Gea, he had a bit of a shaky start at United, but ever since then, he's been worth 10 to 12 points a season for them. Player of the Year 3 years in a row. He'd be quality. Ben says, any updates on Boateng, or was it just a rumour? It seems to be just a rumour. It really has gone quiet, hasn't it? It was a rumour I was excited about. 28 years of age, German international, proven pedigree at Bayern Munich. Yes, he's injury prone, but we probably only needed him there for cover to be 2 out of 3 centre backs between him, Lovren and Van Dijk. So I think it was just a rumour, Ben, but it was a rumour that certainly had me excited. He was somebody I was more than happy for us to be linked with. Michael says, hello mate, Shaqiri 12 million squad player bargain, can win you a game off the bench, free kick, rather him than Ings. Yeah, that's a good point, Michael. I would definitely agree with you there. I never thought of it like that. I would certainly rather Sheridan Shaqiri coming off the bench than Danny Ings. And I do like Danny Ings. I wish him well in his career. He's a great hard-working footballer, but I just don't think he's of the quality for Liverpool. So another great point raised about Sheridan Shaqiri coming off the bench. And I guess I've been a little bit short-sighted here, and you guys have kind of put me in my place a little bit. So I do agree he'd be a good addition to come off the bench. Certainly better than Danny Ings has been. Dr. Yogurt says, get him. I don't know. I don't know who you're talking about there, mate. Are you talking about Neymar? Because if you're talking about Neymar, oof, serious money there. What, 200 odd million? Ben Webb says, asking if 80 million is ridiculous for a goalkeeper, I'd say no. Winning things makes money exponentially. Feed be paid back in one very good season. Yes, agree 100% with what you're saying there, DMM, about Ben and the goalkeeper. 80 million quid in 2-3 years time won't look like a shitty amount of money or money wasted if we bring in a quality goalkeeper who will keep us in the Champions League, help us challenge for the Premier League, and help us put some trophies in the trophy cabinet. So fully agree with the guys. 80 million quid, I think we should just pay it. What else have we got here? DJ MC says Neymar is a money grabber. He certainly is. Him and his father seem to like a few quid, especially the way they do their deals, and the way he went from Santos to Barcelona was a bit iffy apparently. And I think the money that himself and his father, who I believe is his agent or his representative, made from the deal between Barcelona and PSG was astronomical. If I remember, like 39 million quid in agents fees or something like that. Aaron Lennon says Naby Keita posted a tweet on Twitter saying Liverpool are waiting Friday to sign Fekir. Did he really? Wow. If he did post that tweet, that's amazing. Liverpool are waiting to Friday to sign Fekir. Fekir Friday. Yes, I'm all over that, Aaron. Fekir Friday. That would be a great day. I'm looking forward to Fekir Friday. I hope that happens now. As I said, we've got loads of images and stuff ready to go. Fekir Friday. Yeah, I can do that. Definitely hashtag Fekir Friday. That's got me excited, Aaron. Thank you, mate. DJMC says, I think we should go for Julian Draxler. I've watched him a lot because we've been linked with him. He didn't do it for me when he was in Germany, and he certainly hasn't done it for me when he's been at Paris Saint-Germain. Another player who I feel might have chased the money rather than his career. We have been linked with him so many times, and I wouldn't doubt his quality. He definitely has the ability. He just seems to have lacked the finishing product, or he seemed to have 90% of the way there, but he just lacked that last 10%. But if we were to sign Julian Draxler, if PSG would let him go and Klopp would bring him in, I wouldn't be on here whinging about it. I trust that Klopp would be able to push him on to get that last 10%. So it would be interesting. And you know what? I think PSG would sell him. I think PSG probably would sell Draxler to ease their FFP concerns. They have been moving a few players out, so it's probably not the most ridiculous show. Mike Hine says, we're just looking at some videos of Karius from Mainz. He was a completely different keeper, and Achterberg never improved him. Look at De Gea. He was shaky at the start, but what an improvement. And that's true. We spoke about John Achterberg before. None of us know him personally, obviously, so none of us get to see what happens on the training ground. But from a fan's point of view, we haven't seen any goalkeeper progress during the time at Liverpool. So, good shout again there from Mike. He was voted the second best keeper, I think, in the Bundesliga behind Manuel Neuer when he was at Mainz. He was seen as a really bright prospect, possibly the heir to the Neuer throne as the goalkeeper for the German national team. So it certainly has been a huge fall for Karius over the last couple of seasons, and I don't see him making it at Liverpool Football Club. I just don't think there's any coming back from what happened in the Champions League final. Ben LaCour says, what would be your starting 11 players? Players we have now and players we're strongly linked with. Okay, so if we're being realistic, I've said time and time again I want us to spend money, so I'd go Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Lovren, Andy Robertson, Fabinho, Naby Keita. I'd like to see Fekir playing in front of those three, and then the front three as we have them. But also I think you would have to find a place in for Jordan Henderson for probably 50% of the games as well, depending on who we're playing. But that would be probably the strongest 11, Ben, that I could think of if we signed all the players who we were linked with. Evan says, who am I following at the World Cup considering Ireland aren't playing? Just did a World Cup preview podcast. Spain. I'm going to be going with Spain purely from the Iniesta thing. This being his last major tournament. I've been a huge fan of Iniesta's whole career. The guy plays the game in the right way. He's been a model professional. He's delighted many of us. He had that wonderful moment where he won the World Cup for Spain, scoring the goal in the final. So I'll be fully behind Spain and hoping that Iniesta can go out on a high, because he deserves it for the amazing career he's had. Connor says Keita isn't even on Twitter. Well, I trust Connor on that one because I don't follow footballers on Twitter. I follow Liverpool Football Club, but I don't follow individual footballers because, I'll find out news about them if I need to. Anything they do is around in 5 minutes. I'm not a fanboy, so I don't really follow individual players that much. Maverick says he agrees. He doesn't rate Draxler. He thinks he'd struggle in the Premier League. It depends on what team he went with. I certainly couldn't see him playing in this Liverpool team with the intensity that we play with. I think he'd struggle as well, mate, from what I've seen of him. But as I said, there is talent in there. The Junior 2017, hiya mate, says Shaqiri would be a great backup and would love Harry Wilson to stay as well. I'd love Wilson to stay. I hope he does. I'm starting to hear a few people don't think that Ben Woodburn might actually be at the club this season, that there's a possible loan for Ben Woodburn, or maybe that he won't quite make it at Liverpool. I don't know, but Harry Wilson definitely deserves a go, and I hope Ben Woodburn gets a go as well, don't get me wrong. But Shaqiri, everyone seems, I mean, I've come on and you guys all seem to think that a 12 million quid is certainly worth a punt. Brian says Courtois and Oblak were good in their early 20s at Atletico. If we don't get Alisson or Oblak, our scouts should look for a rough gem and buy Schmeichel from Leicester. Schmeichel's what I actually looked at Schmeichel a while ago. He's 28 or 29 years of age now, I think, as well. And at Leicester, so another move from a Premier League club. You're talking probably big money to go and buy Schmeichel, Brian. I imagine Leicester wouldn't let him go for anywhere less than probably 40 million quid. That's just a figure I plucked out of thin air, by the way. But yeah, I don't know. It would be a strange one. I think if you were to move for him, you probably would have been better doing it 2 or 3 years ago. Aaron Lennon says, isn't Naby Keita Page DMM? I don't know, haven't got a clue. DJMC says, would you have Luis Suarez back? Oh, that is a tough question, mate. That's probably the toughest question you could possibly ask me, because he was the one for me. I mean, people had Torres as their favourite Liverpool player during their time, but Suarez was it for me. I said I wasn't a fanboy of footballers, but I'm kind of lying, because I was a Luis Suarez fanboy. Wholeheartedly, 100%. Have a signed Liverpool shirt of his, have a signed Barcelona shirt of Luis Suarez. I'm a massive fan of Luis Suarez, so yes, I would have him back. I know I'd probably get slighted by people because of the way he left, but I love Luis Suarez. I love how he plays the game. I love how he doesn't care if he's 10-0 up or 10-0 down. He's still going to tear into tackles. He's still going to want the ball. Yeah, I'd definitely have him back because I'm a huge Luis Suarez fan. What else we got? Maverick says Bundesliga is not the same as the Premier League. Cannot expect to translate equally. Need inner character and bags of confidence. Karius just doesn't have it, unfortunately. Sadly, it doesn't look as if he has. I think any of us would be foolish to completely write him off because he's so young. But what we've seen and the lack of progression we've seen from at Liverpool, although he did step it up a little bit from his initial offerings to the Liverpool team, I would tend to agree with you, mate. Michael Marnie says Shaqiri's got Premier League experience, so he'd be happy. Great channel, pal, by the way. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you so much. All you guys who come on and say nice things, it really does mean a lot to us. And I know Connor's sitting there and he's looking at me and he's commenting on the Oaks here. If you guys do enjoy the channel and you do enjoy what we're doing and you haven't subscribed, please do so, because it makes a massive difference to us. We're really trying to hit 1,000 subscribers and we're really, really far on the way. So if you haven't, please do take a moment to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and let other people know about us, because we're just like yous, fans of Liverpool Football Club that like to come on and interact with other fans. So please do hit that subscribe button. Richard said, good evening. The issue I have with Shaqiri is he hasn't got much pace and he's not a team player, or is he a team player? Also, is the Monaco keeper Subasic decent? Monaco's keeper, he's okay. I think he'd probably be a 7 out of 10 keeper. I don't know of any links, by the way, to Subasic, so if I've missed one there, excuse me, but I don't know if we're just pulling this name out of thin air, Richard, or if there is something there, but he wouldn't be anyone that stood out to me. I'd say probably a good solid keeper, but no more. I understand your issue with Shaqiri and the pace. Would he be able to keep up with that work rate, or would we be purely seeing him as an impact player for them last 15-20 minutes, especially against a low block team where we're perhaps having trouble breaking them down, because he does have moments of magic in his feet. So interesting to see. Ravi says, did you see the new Adidas ad with Bobby and Mo? I haven't, Ravi, no, I haven't. I actually don't get to watch much TV, believe it or not, so no, I haven't seen the ad, but I'm going to have a Google of it afterwards and have a look. Anything with Bobby and Mo in it is good enough for me, by the way. Aaron Lennon says Salah to Barcelona. Yeah, no, not happening. Sorry, I'm not happening. I'll kidnap him and keep him at Liverpool. I think he did come out today, by the way, Mo Salah, and say that Liverpool's his home, that he loves it here, that he's really enjoying it. So I think Origi and Wilson will be given a go in pre-season. That's a good show. The Junior 2017. It is a very good show. Especially for Wilson. I'm unsure about Origi. I think if we can move him on, you'll see him moved on. I think it's just a matter of trying to find a club that are willing to give us a few quid for him, because he hasn't done it. He didn't do it at Wolfsburg. He hasn't done it during his time at Liverpool. Again, another player who sadly just hasn't progressed. Oh look, there he is. I just spoke about subscribing, and Connor's there. There's 54 people watching. If you all do us a favour and hit the subscribe button, it helps us out so much. This is what Connor kills me over, folks. I come on here and I just want to come on and chat, but we do have to ask you to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying it. The Junior 2017 says Alisson or Oblak. I hope there's nothing to the Alex McCarthy links. Mate, I'm with you. One of those two. Anyone will do. Alisson will be my preference probably because of how good he is with his feet, but either or, certainly they're the hopes. They are really the hopes. Maverick says being a Liverpool keeper is not an easy job. Karius just doesn't fit here. He's a 1 year younger than Oblak, and he's years behind. You know what, just touching on that, Maverick, we speak about Karius, but Karius and Danny Ward are exactly the same age. I actually think they even share the same birthday. But yeah, we often look at Danny Ward and think of him as this young up-and-coming goalkeeper. Well, himself and Loris Karius are the exact same age. So do keep that in mind when we're talking about the goalkeeper situation. Mike Hines says, Salah agent Remy Abbas tweeted to deny a rumour linking Salah to Barcelona. That was class. He said you better get some better sources as this never happened. Boom. Lovely, Mike. That's what we want to hear, isn't it? Salah is a Liverpool player, and I think he genuinely is really enjoying his time at Liverpool Football Club. He did come out and say as much as well. I mean, he's adored here. He's loved in the city. The fans sing his name every week. He just seems to fit in. He just seems to get the city. The people love him. We love his humility. We love how he mixes with people. He's got no air of graces around him. He's just a great guy and an amazingly talented footballer. The Juniors 2017 says, me too, Alisson suits us more, better distribution, and Oblak barely has to come off his line. That's a really good point about Oblak. He does have an extremely good defence around him who are always there making last ditch tackles and mopping up, and they do play a really defensive game. They are very tight defensively, and Alisson probably would be a lot more exposed and would probably be more used to playing that sweeper keeper role that at Liverpool he probably have to do. So that's a really good point, mate. Well done. Anything else you guys want to have a chat about before I head off? Nathan says, are we not supposed to support Karius in Liverpool no matter what? We seem to quit him after his improvement. You know what, mate? It is a good point, but I've said that I'd like to see him stay at the club, but stay as our number 2 and see how he progresses. I don't want him to be just booted out the door, and I also don't think that Jurgen Klopp would do that to him because Jurgen Klopp is the one who brought him into the club. I think we'll see Simon Mignolet moved on and Karius kept there and given a less prominent role in the goalkeeper setup. Maybe get the cup games, maybe get a couple of games here or there. If we have an injury to our first choice keeper, then maybe ease him back in. But I really feel, Nathan, that he does need to be taken out of the limelight for the time being. He's 23, 24 years of age. He needs to rebuild himself. He needs to rebuild his confidence. And medically, we need to make sure medically he's okay as well after the concussion, because it's a very serious thing. So I don't think we'll see him thrown under the bus, mate. I think he will be at Liverpool next season, just not as prominent a position as he was this season. Brian Singson says we need to reintegrate Origi to the squad. There's no ready-made Firmino replacement. Origi knows the system. Heck, he's already ours with some experience. Sell Ings, loan Solanke to Rangers. That's one place I don't want to see Dominic Solanke going, by the way, would be Rangers. I think he needs a higher calibre of move than Rangers. I think we'd need to somewhere like a Fulham or somewhere. He needs a Premier League move, I think, if he's to go on loan. I just don't see Origi making it. That's just my opinion, Brian. I just don't think he's good enough to make it in this Liverpool team. I think he's had plenty of opportunities between his time here and his time with Wolfsburg, and he just hasn't done it. He hasn't progressed. He's still young, but I think you might see the best of Divock Origi in his late 20s, 27, 28, when he really fills out into a man and perhaps plays that Didier Drogba type role as an upfront target man. I just don't think he's the right type of player for this Liverpool setup at the minute. What do you think of the Moses rumours? Take it, Charlie. We're talking about the young guy from Ghent. And I got really excited, by the way, when I looked into this. As I said, he played 20 games last year for them, scored 5 goals. He's Nigerian international. Isn't going to the World Cup because he picked up an injury at the end of the season. There has been some good players come through that Belgian league, some good attacking young players. So I think it's a very interesting link, but I won't sit here and lie to you and tell you I know everything about him. But he certainly seems to have the characteristics of a player that we'd expect Jurgen Klopp to be looking at, shall we say. So be interesting to see how it works out. Maverick says, confession time, after listening to your podcast, I've gone off spending 60 million on a goalkeeper. I think it's not worth it. Rui Patricio for me. Karius will still be number 2 or 3. I'm glad you listened to the podcast, Maverick. So it was a really interesting chat actually about the goalkeeper situation. I think you're probably talking about Chris, if you're talking about your reasoning behind not wanting the goalkeeper at that price. But Patricio is a quality keeper as well. It's a good show. And I do agree with you that Karius will still be at the club, number 2 or 3. I think that's spot on. Evan says, what about Ahmed Higazi? West Brom relegated to be backup centre back, would work wonders with keeping Salah grounded. Plus I actually think he's consistently solid. Has he got a release clause actually, interestingly, because I see Johnny Evans is off to Leicester for £3.5 million, which if you consider West Brom turned down 20 million quid from Manchester City not so long ago, to have to let Evans go for £3.5 million quid to Leicester is ridiculous. So be interesting to see if Higazi does have a release clause, but I haven't seen that much of him, Evan, so I don't feel I can say if he's good enough to play for Liverpool or not. He's never caught my eye. I might be a little bit snobbish here in saying that. I haven't heard or seen too much of him, and I'm not going to say because he's in a relegated team he's not good enough, because that's just stupidity. We've seen with Andy Robertson that's not the case. Michael Marney says, we don't sign a class keeper this year, then we might as well throw in the main stand. Been far too long. It's the position we haven't strengthened, or we've been lacking in for, I would say, I'm probably not exaggerating to say 7 or 8 years. I think we've been lacking a top quality goalkeeper for probably around that time. So yeah, I agree. I'd love us to just go all out, balls out, and just sign a top quality keeper. The Junior 2017 says, feeling some links or smoke screens. We're being linked to too many players, Moses, Simon, Shaqiri, etc. If we want to keep our business under the radar. That's a good point, because of the players we've been signing recently, you look at Fabinho. Nobody had Fabinho. Not a sniff of Fabinho anywhere. He just came in, got done, bang, out of the way. We all knew that Van Dijk, we were linked to Van Dijk. We all knew we wanted Van Dijk, but after what happened in the summer, there was no more talk of Van Dijk, and then there we were, I think the end of December, and all of a sudden Van Dijk standing under a Christmas tree holding up a jersey. So within an hour it went from us being linked heavily again to Van Dijk to him being there holding up a shirt. The same happened with Fabinho. So you do have a good point, mate. Maybe some of these are smoke screens, and maybe the club are staying silent because they're working on other targets. But I like the way we're going about our business. I like the way things are being kept in-house and the links haven't been gone out. I'm not going to lie, I've enjoyed following planes. I've enjoyed some of the stuff our fans have done, tracking planes, watching silver Mercedes vans, but I do enjoy when they get it right and they just get it done under the scene or behind the scenes, and just release the player and say, here he is, welcome whoever it is to the club. So yeah, good point. Right, a couple more before I finish up, I think. Del Croft says, love the show, great work behind the scenes, love the podcast, keep it up. Thank you, Del. That's very nice of you, mate. Really appreciate it, and I'm sure all the guys in the podcast really appreciate it as well, so thank you. We hope you continue to enjoy the shows and the podcasts. So anything else, guys, before we finish up? Did anybody catch the 10:30 news, by the way? I came on just before that started, so I know all the journalists put their stories out at around 10:30 for tomorrow, don't they? The Junior 2017 says, what's your ideal transfer window? Alisson, Fekir, Fabinho and Pulisic will be the dream, if I'm being honest. They're the 4 for me. An attacking midfielder, a goalkeeper, we have a defensive mid, and if we can get another attacking player, I'd be over the moon. If we were to be greedy and look for one more on top of that, then probably a centre back, another centre back, but that's my ideal window, mate. So Christian Pulisic, Fabinho, who we have, obviously Keita is in as well, Fekir and Alisson. That would be perfect for me. Anything else, I'd be just a bonus. Maverick says, yeah, we need to run some interference on Real targets because others are also looking to sneak them from us, like City and Jorginho. Very lucky to get Fabinho without a fight. Interestingly though, like we were linked with Jorginho, but the club are saying that they were working on Fabinho since February, if I remember correctly. January we were heavily linked to to Lamar from Monaco, but from that point onwards, the club said that they were working on the Fabinho deal. So, was the links to Jorginho really true? Did we really want Jorginho, or were the club happy to let that link fester out there while we kept going and got that Fabinho deal done? Interesting to have a think about. The Junior 2017 Lascelles, yes. I would happily have Jamal Lascelles at Liverpool. I think him or Tarkowski, the other link. Lascelles was the one for me because to captain Newcastle, to play in that Rafa Benitez setup, and he did play very, very well. Lascelles had a really good season, was instrumental in keeping that Newcastle team in the Premier League when everybody thought that they were destined to go back down to the Championship. So I would be very happy to see Lascelles come to Liverpool, and I'd have no qualms about it whatsoever. How about you? Would you be happy to see him here? Evan Guest, solid effort to you and the team. You'll always be talk of the terrace to me. Yeah, the reason we changed the name, Evan, is probably self-explanatory, but I'll give you a bit of background. I started out I did a couple of podcasts with Anfield Index. I started my own podcast called ARW, Anfield Road Wolves. I left there last September because I wanted to go on and start a new podcast, so that's where Talk of the Terrace came from. But the problem with Talk of the Terrace, Evan, was that we kept getting, because it was TOTT Sport, a lot of people kept saying to us, are you a Spurs podcast? Because of the TOTT. So the name was causing us problems. So we sat down, we had a chat. We'd already built the website and stuff, so we were really deeply into Talk of the Terrace. But we sat down, we had a chat, and we decided we need to rebrand and rename to make it more Liverpool-centric and obviously a Liverpool brand. So myself and Connor sat down in John Lennon Airport when we were over in Liverpool, and we were waiting in the departures lounge, and it just came to us, Anfield Agenda. So we did a quick search. The name wasn't taken. We got the Twitter handles, we got the Instagram handles, we bought the website domain, and that's where Anfield Agenda came from. But I'm glad you were listening since Talk of the Terrace, so thank you for that. Aaron Lennon says, who would you put as captain next season? Jordan Henderson. I wouldn't move it. I'd happily leave Jordan Henderson as the club captain. If he's not playing a particular game, then I'd like to see it given to Virgil van Dijk, him as the vice captain. I think people sometimes think that the club captain has to play every game, and we've seen at other clubs in the past that he doesn't. We've seen Michael Carrick was the club captain at Manchester United. I just think Jordan Henderson has been an immense captain for Liverpool Football Club. I think the work he does behind the scenes, the charity work he does, the way he carries himself, the way he portrays the club when he's out and about, he always goes the extra yard for the fans. I think he's an amazing captain, so I wouldn't like to see it taken off him at all. The Junior says, rate Lascelles, but as you say, a centre-back along with Alisson Fekir and a backup winger is being greedy. There's nothing wrong with being greedy though, mate. We're fans. We're supposed to be a little bit greedy, aren't we? Especially in transfer window time, and especially when we hear that we still have the Coutinho money floating around and a few more quid. You know what, guys? I think I'm going to knock it on the head for tonight, but thank you all so much for coming on and having a chat with me. I really enjoyed it. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do so. But if not, I will be back on Friday. We'll be putting the World Cup podcast up now straight after this, and tomorrow you'll have a transfer podcast, so keep an eye out for that one. All the latest transfer news, we'll be uploading that to the YouTube channel as well. Thank you so much for joining me, guys, and enjoy the rest of your night or the rest of your evenings wherever you are in the world. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.